It's time for more coaching and coffee talk. Today, my guest is Birger Hanzen. Birger is a certified Wim Hof Method Instructor, the only one in Denmark currently. He learned from the man himself. He has been featured recently in Danish newspapers and on TV, demonstrating his techniques and spreading the word of how the Wim Hof Method enriches health, heals trauma, and strengthens the body and mind. Birger, thanks for doing this today.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me here, and thanks for the beautiful introduction.
Yeah, sure. You know, when people do this kind of work, I'm always interested what their story is. It's usually an interesting one, and usually one where they are overcoming a lot of obstacles. So I'm curious, as much as you can tell about your background and what led you to this, to be curious about this method and then to actually go on and head and be an instructor.
Well, my start was into this industry, as I call it, of self-exploring, self-developing, and is an old story, more or less. It's 20 years ago I moved away from Denmark because I had a desire to. I had a dream when I was 12 years old. Maybe all pre-teenagers want to run away from home because the parents don't understand them. I took it one step further, and I had this dream to go and live on the other side of the world so I can get as far away as possible. Childish, naive, but it carried on with me for 23 years years. And when I was 35, I finally did it. I went and moved to New Zealand, and I just so I actually made something out of my childhood desire to move away. But I found out that the monkey or the pelican or whatever's on your shoulder talking to you, or the monkey is mostly the most well-known animal you take on. No matter how far you run, how fast you run, the monkey's always gonna follow you. And I found out that I had some issues with my back, and I couldn't. I ended my Thai boxing career at that moment.
You're a Thai boxer, okay.
Yeah, I just saw one of your podcasts with is the exercise a symbol of your trauma, and that's kind of like funny because I did really elite, serious martial arts for 17 years as I see now, to contain my anger. And that was really, really good for that part. It wasn't that good for my part because it's hard on your body. And when I moved to New Zealand, my Japanese guru that did keep my back straight while I was doing my fighting, he couldn't move with me. So I found another one with the shiatsu massage in New Zealand, and she couldn't go deep enough, so she couldn't really help me. And then I was very frustrated, and since she asked me or told me, well, then you're gonna go try yoga, and I said, come on, I'm a Thai boxer. Yoga is a little bit, but I tried it, and I was fortunate that this guy, he was a martial arts interested, and he understood that with all my muscles and stiffness, even though I was a martial artist, I was very flexible, very powerful. I couldn't do most of the yoga exercises that you normally do. So, but we had an understanding, and so I wasn't scared off. I wasn't feeling too awkward in the situation. So yeah, I picked it up, and then that's like more than 20 years ago. Then I came into the industry of self-exploring, yoga, mindfulness, meditation. I even became a coach, and I did some psychotherapy training in trauma release, and cool. I did the whole thing,
And then, so when did you come back from New Zealand back to Denmark again?
Well, I took a few years traveling around, and I was in IT at the moment. I have a doctorate degree in the internet. I worked with with IT before it's called IT. So yeah, I'm one of the old guys, and
IT very before was IT.
Well, it's called EDP, electronic data processing,
programming or processing. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So and yeah, I went into that, and I even developed my own meditation programs with technology, because I didn't feel much of the meditation initially, and as an active person, meditation was hard for me to get some benefits from, except when I was in need. Then of course it worked. Meditation works, but for me, it took a little bit too much discipline to do it. But I did it, and then I dreamed of having a different career than IT and working with people. I tried that, but couldn't make it. And then I went back and forth from IT because I could make some money to survive there, and I traveled a little bit. And for the last 10 years, I did teaching. I taught the in and outs of the internet, and I really loved that. But when you're not working with it day to day, then your skill set becomes a little bit degraded, and back and forth. So 3 years ago, I changed track. I went into security. I never worked with IT security before, so I went on a big project and came back to Denmark. I went to a big project with EU in Slovakia, and then I came back to Denmark, and I landed a big contract here, and everything looked fine. But during the last 10 years, I had this recurring streptococcus rosin infection that I couldn't get rid of. Penicillin was the go-to, but I know and I could feel that penicillin wasn't that good for me in the long run. Yeah. But on and off, I did this for 10 years. And then 3 years ago, I Googled "never sick again" because I was fed up with it. And then Wim Hof popped up.
Is that right?
And an American guy called Evan Carmichael, he made this podcast called Never Sick Again because he also had some recurring issues. And and then I met Wim, and immediately I tried out the breathing method. There was no app. There was a guide maybe on YouTube. I just tried it, and I, of course, was breathing completely wrong, like a machine.
Yeah,
I was copying
that's how
Wim,
I started too, yeah.
We all do that. We copy Wim, but Wim is Wim. Never copy Wim. He even attempted to climb Mount Everest in his shorts. Never do that. Never do that. And did breathing before going into the ice water. All the things you shouldn't do. Wim did that. Thank God that he survived, and thank God that he kept on feeling or kept on following his feelings. And that's why we're talking. That's why my life completely changed 3 years ago. I found out that there was an academy. I couldn't get in because it was full, and
was this when he was doing it in Poland?
He still does it. He does it in Poland.
Yeah.
The winter expedition and the masters for the instructors, and then he does summer expedition in Spain, and he does also a few masters in Australia and in America. But his main base is in Poland and in Holland, of course.
Yeah,
that's where his home is.
Yeah. And describe what it was like the first time you tried to get in an ice bath or get in the cold. What was
my first ice bath? That must been.
Was it a big aha moment for you? I guess so.
Well, not the first one. It was like it was in Holland, in Struve, where his home is, where the advanced training was held, and I don't remember my first ice bath. It wasn't a big thing for me in the beginning. But when I came home, it must have done something to me, because when I came home, I found out how to implement cold training in my regime or in my everyday life. And I've been rainwater buckets, ice from McDonald's, you name it. I've tried all kinds of measurement, and I even bought a cold shower enhancer, and I try to really, my home is simple, but my bathroom is top notch. You have all kinds of cold features. So,
I need some of those upgrades too, because I'm for the first time did the winter bathing this year, which was a great winter to start, right? We got to punch holes in the ice and everything like that, which hadn't happened for a few years, right? It's been a while since that happened.
This is the hardest winter we have in Denmark as well. Beautiful.
But now I joke, you know, because when I go to the water, you know, I pass the other winter bathers, and so we've been stopping and we've been lamenting over the fact that it's so warm right now. You know, it's like reverse seasonal affective disorder. You know, we're actually depressed that the cold is gone. You know,
That's true. I had it last summer.
Yeah.
Last spring. It was cold in Denmark, and then the summer came, and I was like, oh. What to do when the water became too warm? It's like, I have my freezer. I have the most famous freezer in Denmark. It's been on the biggest BT, the biggest national TV in Denmark. My chest freezer. So that's the easiest, best way to maintain a cold training.
Yeah. I have. Well, yeah. I'm in negotiations with my wife about what I can possibly do, but our shower doesn't get that cold. That's the problem for me too. It doesn't get that cold, and but my kitchen sink gets quite cold. So I'm thinking about running a hose from the kitchen sink right out the window and having like an outdoor cold shower for the summer, because I still go to the water every morning, because we're 100 meters. I'm in Suhan. We're 100 meters from the harbor, so I love the ritual, you know, of just going to the water every morning and doing my prayers and meditations in the water. But yeah, I'm really missing the cold, man. Once you start with that, you know, you miss it when it goes.
You do. It's as your T-shirt says, it's hormones. It's happy hormones. It's dopamine, and there's nothing that can beat dopamine. It's the most high you can get. Of happiness, feeling, alertness, and well-being. So I don't know. I know a few people that love the cold, love to go in and long durations. I'm not there. I used to be like that. I'm not anymore. My body don't like it to go long and hard. It's like training, like Thai boxing. It's my body is not up for it anymore. I can't push it anymore. I have to listen and accept. So I do short period, and I expose my head a lot to the cold, which gives me the feeling. And I can, I of course go into it now to see how little. Well, with the philosophy of less is more, how little can I do to get the maximum output? I know my body much more than I've ever done, and I have a little bit of measurements. I measure the skin temperature, I measure my pulse, stuff like that, so I can see the benefits. I also see, of course, my oxygen level when I do my breath, stuff like that. So, but not too much. I don't want to be too nerdy. I don't want to become a biohacker with technology tools on all my fingers and stuff like that. But I go for feeling, and sometimes I use technology to see if my feeling is what my body is feeling. Because you have a filter, and I'm very much aware of the filter that we have in the frontal loops, our ego, our upbringing, our traumas, everything filters our experience of life. And so I'm aware of that. And I kind of, it's like, I was joking at one time that I have to become a trauma therapist, because I'm so fucked up that I can't afford to go to a therapist for the rest of my life. So I have to become a therapist myself. But I found Wim uses the cold as a healer, as a teacher. And I follow him. I use it as my therapist, because when I go there, I'm completely calm and my body never lies. So that my body tells me where I am at the moment. And then I get releases. Breathing, of course, for me is the go-to, because the breathing is always there. Every time you're in need, the breath is always at the tip of your nose or your mouth. So the help is always there. And that's how I perceive the Wim Hof method, as a beautiful way of dealing with whatever's inside that needs to come out. And when you push your body, like the Wim Hof method does, both on the breathing is extreme, everything comes out eventually. Because the body can't hold traumas. It can't. I don't always talk about trauma. I talk about imbalances. If your body is not in balance, it can't perform. If you put yourself in fight or flight mode, in sympathetic mode in your nervous system, going to the ice bath, breathing like a I don't want to say it. The famous Wim Hof saying, breathe like a MF.
Breathe, motherfucker.
Exactly. And he means that in the most loving way.
Yeah.
It's not like a motherfucker, fuck
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
No.
yeah.
It's fucking is the second highest priority that we have as a species. Survival, reproduction. So, and mother is the reason we're here. So it's a very beautiful way of respecting and saluting your mother and the order of the nature. But that's my interpretation. So breathe like a motherfucker is breathing like you mean it.
Yeah.
If you're breathing like you mean it, that you want to know, that you want to see, that you want to feel, then the help will, whoever's watching and can help you will see that you're actually trying hard to go through it to become a better person. Because if you have traumas, and I know about this really, really in depth, then you have problems with the people close to you. And I have had that, and I still have issue with close relationships because I'm afraid. I'm afraid to get burned again and again. So, and I'm so aware of it, but I can't hold it or contain it yet. But I'm getting closer. I'm never gonna give up, so I can't lose.
I mean, on the trauma thing, you know, I noticed that you had posted about Gabor Mate and his trauma film, and I love what he says about trauma, that it's not actually the thing that happened, it's our reaction to it and how it's affecting us now. And that helped me so much, because I was, you know, my background is I was an alcoholic and ended up as a heroin addict. So I ended up in 2003 in the hospital, detoxing from all this stuff, and then ended up getting sober in 12-step programs and stuff like that. And only now am I really looking back at that, because in the 12-step world, they have this idea that there's some genetic thing, like, oh, I had the gene for alcoholism, the gene for addiction, or something like that. And it really helped me to learn about Gabor Mate and the little bit different view on trauma, because now, as I'm 55 in a few weeks, I look at this kid, you know, there was a heroin addict, and I was like, what is going on with this kid? You know, well, why does someone choose that? Obviously this kid is in so much pain, you know, and then really just this past year, as I started unraveling all this stuff, really as a fight for my own life, because I don't know if you know, I had a heart attack about a year and a half ago. So and I feel like all this stuff, you know, led up to that too, and that's really you know, of course, I'm not a doctor. I don't recommend this for anyone. Talk to your doctor if you've had a heart attack. But me personally, I couldn't stay on all that medication. The beta blockers, the this, the that. I was so drugged. And so I knew I had to get off of those, and then I wanted to replace it with something else. And that's when I, you know, also like you, you know, I didn't want to be sick again. And I was looking for things that are good for the heart, you know. And also I knew that stress was the like that's where my battle lines would be drawn, on stress, how to deal with stress better. And the Wim Hof method, the breathing, and also getting in that ice water, like you said, has been such a teacher for me too. But like you said, I think you said you found peace there or something. And I always say, you know, when I get in that freezing cold water, you can just think of one thing, and that's, it's fucking cold. I mean, all the other thoughts in your mind, like you said, the monkey brain, all the crazy stuff, you get in a cold water, it's gone. You get it. I say it's really my only experience with having an empty mind. The mind just empties out, right? When you're in that cold water, and when you try it and you experience that, it's such a relief. And I think that's why I keep going back. It's that ability to empty the mind like that. And then Wim talks about, you know, setting an intention for the day, and that's what I did. I did those cold water meditations, and setting an intention for the day and just a short prayer about, being of service or being loving, in the day. And it really sets in there, right? He talks about it like, because it's the primitive mind, right? You can kind of set the intention in that primitive mind, when you're in the cold water like that. And I've just like been amazed by it. So I'm a total convert to it. But yeah, tell me about some of your experiences with Wim, because he is a character, right? I mean, brilliant. I don't know. Have you listened to his podcasts?
No, I haven't yet. No.
He just started a podcast, and it's he's so all over the place. You could just hear he's got his son there trying to rein him in. He's got a producer trying to rein him in, and still you could hear they have to edit it like they have to chop it up like crazy, because you can tell he's just going off on crazy tangents and stuff. He's a real force of nature, right?
Yeah, I love the podcast he's done with other people that keeps the structure, and where Wim has a little bit of desire to come across as a normal person, or come across with his message. Doing his own podcast, I could imagine, then there's no limits. So
exactly.
That's the way I know Wim. That's why I say that he wouldn't be able to pass his own academy. Thank God for that, because the academy goes for security, for safety, for protecting people. Wim is beyond that, but he, of course, he invented the method, the academy, more or less. So he don't need to go through it. But again, I have a few episodes. I have one I haven't shared with many people, and I would like to share it with you, because it's
great. Yeah.
Well, we were, because I couldn't get into the academy, I tried to get close to him by going to the summer expedition. I didn't know about the winter expedition. I thought, that's a little bit crazy in Poland in the middle of winter. No, we go for the summer expedition. I want to meet him now. So I went to the summer expedition. First of all, I met him in Holland, in Stru, and he was looking at me. He was like, "What? I have some pictures of that," and I was very, very committed. So he maybe got a little bit scared off, because I was like in his face, and I don't know. That's my interpretation. Whatever. I went to Spain, and that was beautiful. We were hanging out, and he was a lot there, and he was doing all these speeches in churches around the area, and Enem has found a really, really beautiful place for the summer expedition.
That's his son, right?
His son, Enem Hof. Yes, he's the business manager. We had one day, the second to the last day, where we were supposed to have become drunk and have hangover twice during one day. And Wim was there having a party with us. So we were drinking, having fun, playing music, all that. And then the day after, we should supposedly have a hangover. And most of us did, because we were having a really good party. Mm-hmm. And then we should do breathing in the grass under a beautiful big tree. I was lying in an ant nest, so I couldn't breathe. I couldn't find peace. I found out afterwards, when you go into the breathing, you sometimes become a little bit zombie, right? You go into your own. There was something there, and then after a few rounds, I stood up. I could see all the ants, and I was like, wow. I didn't want to make too much commotion of it, so I moved away a little bit. So I didn't get the breathing done, so I still had some hangover. Because I've tried it afterwards, the breathing, 20 minutes breathing, 2.5 minutes of cold exposure below 18 degrees will also cure your hangover. So, piece of cake. So we start trekking. And we didn't know, as always, Wim has this philosophy of program, no program, so you never know what's going to happen. But we start trekking up this mountain in the middle of the summer. 2 years before I started the Wim Hof Method, a dear friend of mine, Peter Lex, he hanged himself. Oh. I tried for a few years to help him with my tools at the moment, meditation, mindfulness, and just hanging out, and I couldn't. So while I was walking there with a hangover, and I had a stiff knee because I did some some brown fat activation in my shower prior to the summer expedition. So my knee just popped because I fainted or passed out in the shower. Never do Wim Hof technique, standing up, driving a car. You know that. I've done it all because I didn't understand the power of it until now. Walking up, it was hard, warm. And I committed myself to stay close to Wim at all times. So I follow his tempo. He's an old man, but by God, he still moves like a spring gazelle. Yeah. So moving up the mountain, and I had this kind of a crisis, and the weather was cloudy and sunny. And my friend, the guy Peter Lex, he always said that the sun is always shining, just sometimes above the clouds. So I was thinking of him while I was walking, and kind of he was walking with me. I felt really, really devastated that I couldn't help him. But we moved up, and then I came to the top. There was another guy and me, and then there was women. And I shared this story with him that if I've known this method just 2 years ago, I'm sure I would have been able to help him, because that's what the method does, right? It helps us in need. It's always delivered. The more need you are in, the more the method delivers, or the breathing and cold. Just to happen that Wim Hof put them both together and called it the Wim Hof method. But it's just breathing and cold. It's really, really powerful when you're in need. But I came up and I shared this story with Wim, and he said he sees you, he feels you. And I got emotional, of course, because, this big guy is hugging you and saying things that you love to hear. And so I start to cry a little bit, and then he said, "Are you ready?" And I thought about, if another guy's come along, I'll be ready for sure. I'll kidnap him or her and spend 40 hours with them in a cottage somewhere, breathing like a motherfucker, breathing the devil out of you, whatever it is they're struggling with. So I know I within 24, 48 hours can do a huge impact with people that I need and are willing to do the work. But the work is only lying on your back, doing some breathing, and then going outside in water or in sauna. It's pretty cool, actually. It's not like running a marathon. It's not like doing extreme things. It is extreme, and you have to take care. You have to listen to your body, because the impact, the stress on your body is enormous. And I know what I'm talking about. I've been in IT for 30 years, traveling the world. I've been a martial artist. I've been doing yoga, and I know how stressful things are on your body. This is really high impact training. It's high intensity training, but you don't think, because you're just lying there on your back. Yeah. You just go in a little bit of cold water and you're sitting there for a few minutes. Come on. How hard can it be on your body? It is hard. That's why you become so stress robust from it, if you listen to your body and don't push it, because then you burn out, just like anything else. It's like working out with a muscle. Just perceive it as a muscle training. How many times a week should I do it? Well, if you do it once, you're not going to benefit. Twice, you're going to maintain your power. 3 times, you're going to develop. 4 or 5 times, woo, you're going into elite. 7 times a week is too much. So it's nobody knows, only you know. Sidetrack. Back on track. Yeah. Then Wim asked if I was ready, and I said, of course. I thought he was asking, are you ready to meet another person and take him out of his or her misery? Or maybe he was asking, are you ready to take yourself out of your own misery? I don't know. I just answered yes. And then he asked, should I take your backpack? I had some water for some other people. I have maybe 8 kilos on my back. I said, come on. I was a little bit bold there. Fuck you, man. You're the old guy. So I'll take my own backpack. And then he said, okay, let's climb. And there was this mountain ridge. We were about 600 to 800 meters above sea level, and you couldn't see it. And where we stopped and started climbing. But after a few minutes of climbing, you could see all the way down to the bottom, where it was about 600 or 800 meters. Who's counting? I didn't want to look down. But we started to climb, and after 10 meters, I could feel the weight of my backpack. And I wouldn't say fear, but I have a high degree of respect of heights. Normally, because if you fall down, you don't survive it, right? You hurt yourself. And we start climbing, and then after 10 meters, I said, Wim. And then he exactly knew what I was talking about. His hand came down, he took my backpack, and then we kept on climbing. It wasn't difficult climbing at all. I used to climb a little bit. Wim didn't know that, of course, but he felt me. But I felt the focus. All the things I've learned about climbing came back to me, and I was just one hand is free or one foot is free at all times. I only have 3 secure points. So we were climbing on this mountain rig, and then at a stage we came around, and then I felt that now I'm really up high, and I didn't look down. On the way down, I looked down so I knew what was going around there or going on. That was about 800 meters free fall, and I could feel it. I didn't want to look down. I could feel it. I was like the whole situation, and I looked up and I saw Wim's wide ass in the same shorts he was climbing Mount Everest, or at least I believed that in my mind at that moment. And then I heard him breathing. So I just copied him. So I start breathing like that with sound. Not like forcefully, but just with a sound, with a resistance, in and out. That's what Wim does all the time, even in podcasts. If you listen, if something goes deep in a podcast, something comes up that he likes or that he feels is important, you can hear Wim breathe silently in the background. So I copied that. And then the rest of the climb was a piece of cake. I just focused on one hand, one foot, one hand, one foot at a time, following Wim, not in his speed, but just following my own speed, and kept on breathing. And then we came at the top. He gave me a hug again and said, now you're set. Get out, go on with your mission. Take this to the people. Now I get emotional, of course, because it was such a huge moment. I could feel that I was standing there on the top, a little bit frightened. And then when he said that, when I came on the top, I could just feel my whole chest coming out and like, boom. Yes, I'm ready.
Yeah.
So that kind of feeling. And then, the rest is history. I've been struggling for the last 2 years, trying to get the message abroad. And it sounds too good to be true. It sounds a little bit hocus pocus. We have the science in Holland, in America, in Australia. We didn't have the science in Denmark. So I just copied Wim. And I even tried to do not a Mount Everest, but swim to Sweden 1st of December in 8 degrees. I had it all planned out. I was training for it. And then when it became November and the water became very cold, I was like, come on, do you really need this? And I was in a full-time job at that moment, so I needed a lot of training. So I can do it, but it takes a lot of training, and I don't want to actually do it anymore. So I dropped that. But then I followed the scientist's way. I knew there's a doctor in Denmark. I read about him. He's been doing the method for 5 years. He cured or helped his friend cure his symptoms of multiple sclerosis. Wow. And he uses it with people. He's a surgeon. He's got a PhD in the cardiovascular system. And he's been teaching breathing mechanics on the university for other doctors. So he's a shit. He knows. Wow. And I found him early, did a podcast with him. And we've been like following each other a little bit. He's a busy man, of course. So I check in with him once in a while when there's things I don't understand. So he explained me everything I need to know. Unfortunately, this podcast is only in Danish. I have the subtitles to it, so I'm going to send that out because it's really, really simple. This guy knows.
I'd like to see that.
Explaining it. So then, by coincidence, I had this lawyer friend. And we meet through social gatherings, and he always asked me, Birger, tell me about this cold and this breathing. I said, well, I start telling him, then I can see his eyes is flipping away, and the cold is not his favorite part. So, but then one day, I told him, he asked me again, so, Birger, what is about all this cold and breathing? You don't want to know, I said. If you want to know, you're going to sit down, and I'm going to explain it to you, and we're going to try it. No talk, no more talk. And then he said, well, maybe not. But I'm a lawyer for this company called Viregates. They work with the immune system. Check him out. Okay, I checked him out. And Jesper Eugene Olsen is the guy that he's been studying the immune system for 25 years. He's working he's developed a method to measure with very, very precise your immune system ability. You are in chronic inflammation. Chronic inflammation, your higher chronic inflammation, your lower your immune system is, because if you have inflammation internally, then your immune system has to deal with that. If some external virus or bacteria comes, you don't have the surplus to deal with that, and then you become sick. So autoimmune diseases, stuff like that, he knows a lot about. But he's been able to measure it. And I was like, when I heard that, there's a molecule called SUPAR. He can measure that. And then I was asking, could we do this? Could we do this with a group of mine? I'm teaching almost every week group gatherings. And can we do this, please, Jesper? And he was like, no, I don't believe it. It's too much hocus pocus. But then thank God, I raised his curiosity. Maybe the lawyer helped me. Yes, but you got to check this out. Then he checked it out. He found the Peter Peckers, the endotoxin test. And he was like, whoa, come on, that sounds amazing. He knew about Peter Peckers and Matthew Knox's work. And they were like renowned scientists in the community. So I was like, well, I'm going to give it a test. So we did a 4-week group course with 32 people and a control group of 10, 12 people. And bam, we did it. We proved it. He was like amazed. Wow. Within 4 weeks, they could measure about 4 to 6 months of becoming younger and lowering your chronic inflammation. Wow. They didn't believe that. So, and of course, that came out on national TV a little bit more than 2 months ago. And finally, I made it. I even wrote to Wim. I made it, Wim. I made it. It's been hard, but it's been all worth it. And now I'm traveling around the world, no, not Denmark, teaching as much as I can, trying to get people to understand that we all have this within our reach. The power of the mind, the power of the physiology. We have ultimate control over our mind or our body as long as we can control our breath, and we can all do that. It's amazing. Yeah. It's simple. It's for free. It takes some dedication, as you know, to go on a regular basis to cold, to become uncomfortable. You can also use heat, but the cold is a little bit better because we all fear heat or cold. Yeah. The heat I use is extreme. If I tell people about it, they don't want to go in the sauna with me. But again, the more extreme it is, the less time you have to be there, the more benefit it is. So it's short, intense stress on your body. Yeah. And you feel amazed by afterwards. You even produce oxytocin there because you are a part of a group. So it's a win-win situation. So now I'm just getting on with the boring thing, getting my name out there, the social media stuff, all that bullshit. I'm not up for that, but I have to do it in order to maintain the momentum and getting the message across to all the people that I need. I just did yesterday I did a speech and a small demo of 2 hours to a group of citizens that are struggling after the last period of quarantine, the pandemic, stuff like that, the situation. Yeah. And I was like, they were really curious, but then they were a little bit scared when I was saying that you can go, blah, blah, blah. But then they tried it and they looked at peace afterwards. It was so nice to be able to give people, because we all know that meditation, mindfulness, yoga works, but not all can be standing on their head doing a headstand. Not all can meditate. Well, we all can meditate, but not many people get it because it's silencing of your mind. And I like when I sit still, even when I do my breathing, even when I do my power breathing, which is really intense, my body is still moving because that's my history. Every time I get adrenaline in my body, I'm getting ready to fight. So, and that level, I even did supervise 250 bungee jumps. So I know the feeling of having the level of adrenaline of a first-time bungee jumper that is claimed is the same amount of adrenaline you have after 3 to 4 rounds of Wim Hof breathing. And I know that feeling. And it's true. You don't have to measure it. It's true. Yeah. You get alert. You get fresh. And just bring it on for the rest of the day, right?
Yeah, it's interesting since I started doing it. You know, my clients have all like little by little they're trying it too because they see what it's done for me. And the interesting thing is anyone that I know that have tried the cold just try it in a cold shower or anything, and they feel that, they don't go back. They don't say, oh yeah, that felt good, but I'm just going to stop there. They actually keep going with it, you know. I've never had anyone just try it and then say, okay, yeah, but that's not for me.
It will
because
leave.
it's such a great feeling. It leaves an impression.
It will leave an impression on you that you can never go away from. It's just like trauma therapy. If you've opened the closet once, you can never close the door again. You have to go through it, and it's painful. It's crap. I don't wish my worst enemies, if I had any, to follow that path, because it's a worm nest of skeletons and shit and bad feelings, and you feeling out of balance. You feel like you're a failure sometimes, but you have to go through the feelings to get beyond that. And meditation is good for that, to see the thoughts and the feelings and not getting attached to it. But the breathing, gets you through it for sure. Just go through it, breathe through it, cry, scream, whatever. Just breathe through it. It is a shortcut into our internal battlefield, or in our internal playground, whatever you feel like. So it's amazing.
And let me ask you, and I understand if you don't want to talk about it too much because this is how you make your living, but you said that you don't do the breathing exactly like Wim does it. Can you talk about how you do it differently, or is that just for your clients, or how do you feel?
No, I'm open. I'm completely open. I'm the worst businessman around.
Oh no, I'm right there with you.
I know I'm not stupid. I follow all the good, great American coaches, and go-givers get more. I know that, but I don't want to hold it in anymore. It's something everybody should know about. I do it differently. I follow the protocol. I follow the Go Deep protocol. I breathe. How I breathe is dependent on the day. Sometimes I breathe fast. Sometimes I breathe slow. Okay. I always use the app, because then I have Wim, and then I have a guidance. So I know where I am.
Yeah.
I do my breathing, but then the recovery breath, right after the breath hold, is magic. So why not put a few of those in between? I do that, but I still follow the program. So I still do it the Wim way. Breathe, hold your breath. Sometimes I hold my breath with a full lung. I did it just now. I was like, after a minute or a minute and a half, am I holding my lungs with full or whatever? And I just let go, because I could feel the pressure. Normally I don't have pressure, of course, when you do it on a passive exhale. And then cool. So I use Wim Hof method, but I use my own intuition into it. But I still follow, because there's no other way of getting the most benefit, or all the benefits of the breathing than using those 3 steps. Breathe, raise adrenaline, get rid of a lot of CO2 toxins. Breathe it out. Out. In with energy, in with oxygen. And then the breath hold. It can sometimes be inspired by soma, completely empty, which is a little bit scary. If I feel bold that morning, so I empty my lungs completely, and then I hold my breath. Or sometimes when my ego is in charge, and when I have long breath holds, I do it with full lungs. And then my ego, the first few rounds, then my ego shuts up, and then I can go back in. And then sometimes I just let go and hold it like Wim recommends. And it's he doesn't recommend anything that's not right, because sometimes it doesn't feel right for you. Then you should kind of like go with your own feeling. What I love is for people to go away from any of my Wim Hof Method workshop or any other workshop, knowing that there's only one way. That's the no-name method. And you have to find your way to put your own name in there. Take it. Take responsibility. Follow the 3 steps. And when you hold your breath, what happens? Oxygen goes down, CO2 goes up, your blood vessels opens up in your body and in your mind. That's why you want to, when you can't hold your breath anymore, take a full breath in and push it up. And oxidize centers in your brain that will never, or very rare, get oxygen, because you go so low in oxygen level, right? 70%, 50%. That's crazy. That's unhealthy. Yeah, in the long run, but in the short run, it's very healthy.
And what about do you sometimes do nasal breathing, sometimes through the mouth, or?
Yeah, both combination.
Whatever combination.
I
Okay,
preferred breathing. Inhale is like this. I do nose with my stomach, halfway up to my chest with my nose, and then I love, because I've done a lot of yoga, I like the feeling that my whole lungs are expanded. So, so belly, half up chest with nose, and then with my mouth, the final part.
Oh, okay.
And then I want to feel the last part all the way out to my fingertips. So I go,
Okay,
then I only need 25 breaths or something like that. Yeah, this is the advanced course, right? This is read all the grits and nits.
Well, I was doing it just with my mouth, but then I'm wondering if you had read this book, Breathe by James Nestor, because I saw you doing a breath, taping the mouth shut.
I tape my mouth often, and I recommend it to people. If you have problems sleeping, just go down to your pharmacy. Don't go buy official mouth sleeping tapes, fully covering your mouth. No, take a small, blood sample tape. Just put it here. You can still breathe, but it reminds your body or your mouth to close your mouth when you don't have awareness. So, and I had a client recently that hadn't slept for 2.5 years, and I was talking. We were making a sleeping protocol with breathing, box breathing. Wim Hof breathing is not always the best if you want to go to sleep. It gives you more energy. But we adjusted the protocols and used some box breathing, and then we had a cold shower routine. Also, I use cold showers to fall asleep, especially in the summer. And then he came back 2 weeks later, and I was so curious. What's all the techniques, all the stuff I taught you, what have helped? And he said, I've slept like a baby. I've slept 7 hours a day for 12 days. There were 2 days I didn't sleep. I said, okay, what did you do? Did you go in the shower? Were you breathing during the night? No, my tape fell off. So he didn't do anything. The tape just fell off, and he wasn't getting his beauty sleep at 7 hours. So a mouth tape, a guy that studied, and he was well off. He's even stopped working at the moment because he had such a hard time surviving without sleep. So he stopped his businesses. So he was well off. So he have tried all kinds of sleep specialists, experts, being measured here and there, sleeping with all kinds of instruments. But it didn't help. But the mouth tape did, and it cost you $2.
And did he have sleep apnea, actually?
Well, no, he didn't. But that helps for sleep apnea as well. Yes.
Okay, yeah, because I have sleep apnea. I really wish I didn't. Is another thing where I have this, I've always been a fit person. Then I ended up with a heart attack, and now I have this sleep apnea that you normally see in obese people or type 2 diabetics and things like that. But I have this, and it really affects my
sleep quality.
My sleep quality and my relationships too, because nobody wants to sleep anywhere near me. Because I sound like a dinosaur that's choking to death in the middle of the night.
Have you tried mouth tape?
I haven't tried the mouth tape. That's what I'm saying. I'm nervous. I'm nervous about it because I'm afraid I'm going to suffocate or something. But
no, forget about it.
It will just pop off if I really need to grasp.
Exactly. That's why I recommend you put it here. Because then you could, if you get a little bit scared, you can pop it open. But if you're relaxed, then it's fine. And you can still breathe. Or cough. Whatever you want.
Yeah.
Try it for my sake.
I gotta try it
for my sake.
I gotta try it.
Yes.
Well, for my wife's sake.
As well. Because, of course. You even lie more still because the nose, the nose, as James Nestor says, the nose is for breathing, the mouth is for eating.
Yeah.
The nose gives you 10 to 15% better oxidization of your body.
Yeah.
Because all this stuff, and again, nitro monoxide, nitrogen, whatever, it's expelled into the oxygen, gives you a vasodilation effect on your body. So you relax, the body relax, the heart relax, you become more relaxed, and you fall asleep, blah, blah, blah. You know all the drill. So making sure that you breathe through your nose at most times during the day. When you do the Wim Hof breathing in the morning or in the afternoon or in the evening, whenever you do it, breathe with your mouth, breathe with your nose, breathe with any hole you got, as Wim says. Just get it in there. Just try it. Experiment. I tried this morning actually to experiment with mouth and nose at the same time. I don't know if I succeeded, but I'm curious. And if I've done the same thing, because I've done so much training. 37 years of my life I've been in some kind of fanatic regime training, either martial arts, boxing, karate, or yoga. I also became very fanatic about that. I couldn't eat 3 hours before practice because some of the exercises cramp your stomach and you feel vomiting when you do the exercise. So I didn't eat 3 hours before, and your whole life kind of like have to reflect your training. Come on. No. Your training has to reflect your life, not the other way around. So, and this is, you don't need this much time. You don't need to be so fanatic about it. Be playful about it. Always, if I start to do something, and I did that in the beginning with both my breathing and my cold exposure, I get fed up very, very quick. I burn out very quickly, not physically, but mentally. Because come on, same. Of course, the first few weeks, start out doing exactly what Wim does exactly what other instructors tell you, but then be curious, be critical, because I only know how it works for me, and then I can offer it, like I just did with you, some hints, some pointers, what I do, but beside that, go with it. It's nothing to do with we, it's nothing to do with Wim, it all comes from pranayama, which is 2,500, 3,000 years old. Way of becoming, or if you get out of balance, coming back to balance. It's all about that, being in balance. We are happy, we born happy. Why don't we die happy? It's beyond my understanding.
Well, that might be a good note to end on. But I just want to say, Bill, I'm so happy for you that things are taking off like this. I mean, I had to check myself, because since I just started it this past winter, I'm like, am I just noticing this stuff more, or is there really kind of a zeitgeist moment for Wim Hof method and everything? And I really think there is a wave that's going right now, and more people are doing it, and I think it's just great. And it's been great to see you in the Danish newspapers and on Danish TV doing this stuff. And thank you so much for making the time to do this today, Bill. It's been great to connect with you, and I hope I can see you in person soon.
Well, you can come to Denmark when your wife is Danish. So when you come here,
I live in Denmark. I'm in Denmark, man.
You're in Denmark? Whereabouts?
I'm in Suhavn. I'm in Copenhagen. I thought you knew that. Yeah, I said I'm in Suhavn, just 100 meters from the water. Yeah, I'm in Townholm. Yeah.
Come to one of my workshops. I'm lowering down now a little bit over the summer. Yeah. Because I have so many events. So many partners I want to work with. We're going to have a beautiful one for you. I think in July, 22nd of July, I'm going to go to the new Scandic Copenhagen Hotel, the only spa in Denmark that has a snow shower.
Oh, beautiful. Perfect.
You're going to do a small fundamental workshop, Wim Hof workshop. Yeah. Of course, you're going to use Wim Hof, because Wim Hof is the shit to start with. Yeah, then after that, you can find other methods. But if you want to have something that is effective right now and you feel it, Wim Hof method is the way to go. So I'm trying to build on the interest for winter bathing, but also for wellness centers. Wellness centers are the new hospital. Go there before you, or if you don't go there, you have to go to the hospital at some stage. Just like Supar. Supar tells you if it's green, red, or yellow. Just like when you do on every workshop, I do this urine test, P-test on pH in your urine, and it's the same thing. If it's red, you got to do something. If it's yellow, you got to think about it. If it's green, just follow your lifestyle. Your body can handle your lifestyle. The Supar measurement is a little bit more accurate. So, but wellness centers, come on. We have so many wellness centers in Denmark, even in Copenhagen. I've contacted all of them, and only Copenhagen Scandic were willing to give me a chance, because they're new, they want to get out there. And why not using this brand, using me as getting people in there to maintain their health before they need to deal with the establishment, having artificial medicine and stuff like that, and it works. But just like me, trust me, you can do so much for yourself, even with nature medicine, and just go out in nature.
I totally believe in that. Yeah,
in yourself, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
But that'd be a perfect birthday. My birthday is July 25th, so that'd be a perfect 55 birthday present for myself.
It's on me. Thursday, the 22nd of July. That's my birthday present to you, Scott.
Thank you. Thanks, Bill. Thank you so much for doing this today. It was great to talk to you face to face.
Absolutely.
Thanks, man.
Keep on your good work. It's needed.